everybody. Welcome to Temple Paint Studios. This is Matt Temple. And no, you're not reading this wrong. The caption says The Old World and Kings of War, but yeah, this is a Kings of War book. So our video today, very simple actually. We are going to discuss the Warhammer The Old World and Kings of War. But unlike a lot of videos, it's not this versus this. Who's better? It's why not both? Hello everybody, welcome to Temple Paint Studios. This is Matt Temple. And no, you're not reading this wrong. The caption says The Old World and Kings of War, but yeah, this is a Kings of War book. So our video today, very simple actually. We are going to discuss the Warhammer The Old World and Kings of War. But unlike a lot of videos, it's not this versus this. Who's better? It's why not both? You see, one of the things that a lot of people don't realize is these two systems are incredibly compatible. All right, so for those of you who, you've been playing Warhammer The Old World, you went on to other games, maybe Age of Sigmar, 40K, whatever it was, you may or may not know about Kings of War. Now, Kings of War was created by a couple of guys. Ronnie Renton is the founder and chairman of Mantic Games. And the game was created by Alessio Cavatore. Now, if you're an old school fantasy fan, that name may sound vaguely familiar, as he worked for Games Workshop, as did Ronnie, actually. So the fact that these games are similar is not surprising. And in this series of video, we're going to talk about some of the ways that that is the case. We'll look at some differences in another video, but today our goal is to explain how having that can help you play with that. So, Warhammer The Old World. Fun game. It is set up on, of course, your square bases and ranks and flanks. This is my old Bretonnian army that I have slowly but surely been starting to bring out of storage. And if you take a look over here, you can see some more of it. And we'll get to all that here in just a second. This is my Kings of War Abyssal army, so official Mantic models. And then over here, we have my part of a samurai army and part of a Northern Alliance army. Now, the cool thing about Kings of War is it is model agnostic, meaning as long as you've got the right base sizes, we don't care what models you bring. Now, of course, we want to encourage you to buy Mantic models at some point, but you know what? Hey, we're hobby gamers. We enjoy playing stuff. If you can play with these models in Warhammer The Old World, and maybe, hey, you got a buddy who wants to play a little Kings of War, awesome. We want you to do both. The only thing anybody will ever say is, hi, good to see you. So jumping over here, this is the first page of Kings of War, and we're going to zoom right here. You have your different infantry unit types: infantry, heavy infantry, cav, large cav, etc., etc. And for those of you who are familiar with the Old World, that should look very familiar. 20 by 20, 25 by 25, 25 by 50, etc., etc., etc. Because it's literally the same as those. And yes, those of you wondering, well, that sounds like just a cheap knockoff. Yes, actually it was when it started. Kings of War was just a rule set they kind of created to go with the cheap models they were doing, knowing that most people were going to just sneak them over for Warhammer. However, the game has changed quite a bit, and if I'm honest, the game is the real drawing point. It's a lot of fun. And the models, they've been okay, but they are getting better and better and better. We'll take a look at an example here. You do have a couple of differences. You have your troops, your regiments, your hordes, and your legions that are then based up. You've got 100 by 40, 100 by 80, 200 by 80, etc., etc., etc. The bigger the unit, the bigger it gets. So as an example here, this is one cavalry base, 25 by 50. But the regiment is 125 by 100, or 5 by 2. That is the same as that. This is a Kings of War multi-base. That's kind of the biggest difference between the games. There's a lot of differences, but the big one is honestly that you have multi-base versus the individual. All right, so again, here we go. We've got a little bit. Now, some of you are going, Matt, that's just a bit bigger because of the lip. Yes, you're right. However, Kings of War has a couple of rules on that. Anyway, but there's a rule. Basically, if it doesn't fit exactly, if it's slightly too big or slightly too small, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Not a worry. All right. So we will come back to that. And let's look at a few of the examples here. All right, back in a moment. Okay, so what we have right here is an example. These are, of course, Bretonnian Men-at-Arms. Fun model from Games Workshop. Love those. And right here we have a Abyssal. Now, notice that is the exact same base size. So these two are exactly correct, and the will work. So you can take a Warhammer Old World, and it goes perfectly in Kings of War, which is the goal. Now, if you want to do both, I highly suggest go online. I've got a list of places where you can find these, and get yourself some of these movement trays. Again, totally suggest I would get the slot bases. That's slightly easier for a couple of reasons. Number one, notice that's not an entire unit. You don't have to put 20 guys on a regiment. I mean, if you want to, go for it. Have fun with that. But you don't need to. As long as the regiment looks mostly full, yeah, it's fine. We don't care. Kings of War players are very good about that. As long as it looks cool, no worries. And then behind that, you have a horde. 2 regiments equal 1 horde. Kind of nice. As an example, here's a regiment, or look at that, 2 troops. All right. So it is very possible, and in fact, we encourage it. If you are playing Warhammer the Old World, give Kings of War a shot. It's a lot of fun. I think, personally, I think you'll like it better rules-wise than the Old World. Not that there's anything wrong with the Old World, but rules-wise, I just kind of like it. But the best thing is, if I can be honest, these models, they cost a little bit. It's not cheapo. If you can get 2 games for the price of 1, why wouldn't you do it? So give it a chance, give it a shot. And again, if you decide you like it, well, you can move into some other stuff. You've got, please, grab your Warhammer models, get them out, and contact a local Kings of War group or player, or hey, check out the rule book, play a game with with just yourselves and a friend, whatever it is. But we highly encourage you, take a look at the game. Should be a lot of fun, and we are super excited that you're back looking at some ranks and flanks. Hope to see you soon, and thank you very much.